evading predatory journal. So predatory journal, we were talking on how to publish in high index journal from last week. And there is a session of fake, there is a session of predatory, among which we want to publish. So we have to identify which is a predatory journal and which is a really high index journal. So I think this is an important session to identify which journals belongs to predatory. So now we live in an era of brainy era where there is a ample number of open access publishing and it is allow the process of publication much easier during a broad scientific audience. This allows our scientific research narrowing in the scientific community. The way of open access journal operates that the author page is a sort of business model nowadays. And this scenario, the author actually pays the publication to allow the publication to be free and also accessible to the public all over the world. Because of these positive points of having an open access journal, both the author as well as the readers in the scientific world gains. And we know there are hundreds of scientific open access journals that is being prevailing in this world, and we can tell all those created in as open access journals are not really good, and there are many predatory journals among the open access journal, and we have to identify it with legitimately. So now we have going to see the predatory journals, and if you see the predatory journals, they usually charge the authors a heavy money and ask them to publish. And we are not sure whether they will publish the articles or not, even with scientific peer review system. And when you see that many of these predatory journals send that, usually they used to send many spam mail to the people in the scientific committee, either to submit the papers or they may be asking them to join as a editorial team. The predatory journals not only take the funds from authors, but also lose the chance of getting the scholarship for the research projects. By this, I mean you have published your work. So with this, we should have the right to write the opportunity to they avoid the resubmitting our journals in the high index journals. So we have here to know what is predatory journals and what are all the indicators or signs to identify the predatory journals. First, we will see what is a predatory journal. So predatory journals are a growing concern for the researchers. These journals deceive the authors by publishing low quality articles and charging exorbitant fees. This presentation will provide the strategies for protecting your research from predatory journals. Predatory journals are nothing but they are fake journals that is prevailing among in open access journals. If you see the number of publications, 1/5 of the global output of our research output is said to be predatory, and nearly 420,000 articles per year is said to be predatory. So whatever we are submitting to be published, we have to be very careful in submitting the publications to the Scopus or high index journals, and see the number of articles that is being submitted under the predatory journals. We have to be very careful. The term predatory journal was coined by Jeffrey Bell. Bell describes the predatory publishers as outlets which publish counterfeit journals to exploit the open access model in which the author pays and publishers, and they were very dishonest and lack the transparency. There is no proper review process and no suggestions for improvement of the paper. Just like that, they will be publishing it in their journals, and such journals are predatory journals. Here, the Bell, an academic librarian, have published a list of predatory journals before 5 years. That is up to 2017. He has given the list of predatory journals called as Bell's list that was available even now in Google. So you can go Google and see what are all the list of predatory journals. It is abruptly stopped in 2017 because he is showing out who are all the predatory journals, and there was a pressure to go out, and he has stopped publishing and updating the predatory journals list. And a predatory journal is a publication that actively asks the researchers for manuscripts to submit for their journal, and there will not be any good peer review system and no true editorial board, and often to publish the mediocre or even worthless papers in the journals. They also ask for huge publication charges among the authors. They are not indexed in standard databases if you identify, and their motive is purely financial gain. They are not linked to credible scholarly, academic or technical society or association. Though some pretend to be, said there is posted as it is in present in Elsevier, Sigma Theta Tau or Impact Factor, whatever it is. It will be in the home page. If you identify, if you search for it, it will not be there. Okay, and they do not receive public scholarships or funds or grants towards these predatory publications. So with this, see, this is the Bell's list. So if you go into the Bell's list that was updated till 2017, there were a list of hundreds and hundreds of publications, that is journals, that is been listed right from A to Z. And we have to identify whether whatever journal we are identifying to publish is in the predatory journal or not. So by knowing this, we can go for the publications. So, and we have to know one more journal called as clone journal. So clone journal, as the word says, it is a mirror image of your high index journal, otherwise called as hijack journal. The web pages or counterfeit. It's a fake or mirror of an authentic journal. Just like your similar high index journal, there will be a set of journal with the name, same name and title and ISSN number. So those journals are called as clone journals. For example, World Journal of Pediatrics, it shows Springer. It belongs under Springer, as well as the same name is seen under the clone journal also. So they will be taking the same name of the high index journal, and they will be getting all the credits similar to the ISSN. And predatory publishers publish clone journals, and clone journals are more likely to accept the papers from authors since they have developed the mirror image of reputable journals, including their domain name. Since the name is same, the authors who are searching to publish, they will be misused. They are misused to submit their papers under these clone journals. Usually they receive massive attention through claiming that they have earned high impact factors from reputable indexing agencies such as Web of Science and Scopus. If we search in the same clone journal, there will be a brand of, it is a Web of Science, Scopus, impact factor, all things will be there under the clone journals. So this is a UGC care list that is being taken. So if we see that there are plenty of journals that is being published under predatory. See, for example, the number one is Adalia. See, this is the list of UGC care list that is predatory and high index journal, and to the right is the predatory journals. If you see among this, the title is same, Adalia, and language English, and the publisher is being given in the right side, whereas in the publisher is not available here. There won't be any publishers there. But if you see the ISSN number, it is just like that they are stealing the number of the ISSN and they are using it. And see the URL number, see it is http://akmet. This is a proper one for Adalia. See here, it's .com. Okay, towards the right, see the URL. We can see such things and we can identify if something is not available, like publishers or processing fee or manuscript submitting process, and it will be signed to identify it as a predatory journal. Similarly, other journals also, if you go through, you will be available. See, it's not available. And if you see the URL also, it will be different from the things. And we are in the era of open access, and we are in urgency to submit our research to get easily published very easily. Okay, so we have to know what is the open access. Open access is the free immediate online availability of research articles coupled with the rights to use these articles fully in the digital environment. So it's more access means more potential for impact. Since there is an increase in the open access, these predatory journals also more among those open access. They are also using it. Why we have to publish? Why the researchers have to publish? Because they want to disseminate their research knowledge into the world and to increase the impact and visibility of their research, so that the others will be knowing what is the real research they have been done, and they will be, through those research, they will be getting the ideas and they will be doing recommendations for further research. And to establish or build your reputation, by having a lot of publications in your research knowledge in high index things, you are reputed in your organizations, and it is a fame for the person. And be visible or vanish. Your research should be visible in your high index journal. Otherwise, if you do even a very good study with a lot of fund, it will be vanished if you publish in such predatory journals. So we want to disseminate our knowledge. There should be an impact on visibility, and we have to build our reputation, and the research thing should be visible in our research knowledge. So what is the impact upon the researcher while publishing in high index journal? There will be a long-term reputation, because when you are doing a study with a lot of effort, out of that result, we should have some reputation that is being sacrificed for immediate gains. And there is a permanent question on your academic reputation. If you didn't publish it in a high index journal and you put it in under your, after doing 2 or 3 years of research, when you are publishing in a predatory journal, that is going to be waste. There is no academic reputation. So there is a permanent question mark on your academic reputation by wasting your research knowledge in your predatory journal. Next, even if your research is sound, it is likely to be disregarded by the academic community if it is published in a predatory journal. And waste of your research funding that is being used to do that research may be held accountable by your funding agency. You have to answer for that association or funding agency for not publishing in your reputable journal. So this will be the impact upon the researcher. So to this, so we have all those impacts for the researchers. So we are in a position to identify what are all the indicators or signs to identify which are all predatory journals. How to identify the predatory journals? We have some 25 criteria that is being given by Erickson and Helgensens. They are given 25 signs of predatory journals. I try to put all the signs of predatory, how to identify the predatory journals in this presentation. So number 1 is the features an editor-in-chief who also edits numerous other journals from a variety of different disciplines. There will be a set of editors that has been posted in the journals, but they will be editing for a lot of number of journals, say 30, 35 set of journals. And they are the editors for all the persons. This shows that is a predatory journal. So the same editor will be the editor-in-chief for too many disciplines. Either it is a medicine or either it is nursing or zoology, biology, whatever it is. Okay, so this is an example. See the Council for Innovative Research. Here they have given the editorial board. They are the editorial board for 36 journals. So the chief editor is the Council for Innovative Research, and it is being seen in this site. So on the next sign is there will be a false claims about the journal metrics. They will be given all the public. It is a Google Scholar. It is a Scopus. It has impact factor. It is coming under EBSCO. All those things, Open Gate, everything they will be giving under that belongs to Springer or whatever it is. If you search under those Scopus, if you see under the Web of Science, the journal will not be there. So we have to identify. We should not be betrayed by the home page of the journal. We have to go through into it, and we have to identify whether it is a high index journal really, or it belongs to a predatory journal. And there will be a promise of fast publication. They will be giving the home page within 15 days, 20 days, your research will be published. This fast publication is really a fake one. We have to be alert when they promise such things. And they promise an easy peer review and process. peer review is a system, it will go for at least 3 to 4 months. So if they assure you for a easy peer review system, truly it is not comes under the high index. We have to be more aware that if they promise very easy peer review and process. And their titles were very close to those of highly respected legitimate journals with only very small modifications. See here the archives of medicine. See, they have all the homepage articles, impact factor is given, all the things are given, but it is a predatory journal. So the real high index journal is medicine, internal medicine. That is the real thing. So see, this is attractively given with all the ISSN numbers and impact factor. This belongs to a predatory journal. So here is a list of predatory journals which resembles like their reputable journals. See, preventive medicine is your high index journal, whereas it resembles, that is the predatory is a journal of preventive medicine. And the real journal is International Journal of Public Health. Here we have International Journal of Environmental Health. See, the real high index journal is Archives of Internal Medicine. Here the predatory is Archives of Medicine. If you Google the term Archives of Internal Medicine, there will be a list of things will be coming like Archives of Internal Medicine, Archives of Medicine. All the predatory journals will also be coming along with the Archives of Internal Medicine if you Google it. Another one is Internal Medicine Journal. This is a high index journal, that is Scopus. And if you see the predatory version is Internal Medicine Review. I can show you an example. See, this is a real preventive medicine with a high risk, high impact factor, like with a 7.1 size score and 5.1 impact factor. It's a real impact factor score. So, and they have given all the publication times, review time, acceptance rate is less, that is 17%. So this is the homepage for the preventive medicine. Whereas the predatory journal, that is the Journal of Preventive Medicine, will be giving the similar data. But if you go into the data, it will show some errors. It will not give you all the data. Okay, but the name is same, similar to the high risk, that is high index journals. And one more thing we can see Internal Medicine Journal. This is a real journal, and the same name is Archives of Internal Medicine Research. And I tried into those home pages. I'm not able to get into those home pages, and it's showing error. And there is no appropriate data that is being showing the home page or processing fee, whatever it is. And one more thing similar to the Internal Medicine Journal is we have Internal Medicine Review. This is also a predatory journals. So all those things are there, but I'm not able to get all the data that is reliable. It has the ISN number, everything is there. But it doesn't belongs to the high index journal. And another thing is, another sign is claimed to be based in major cities. You see the home page, it is being said to be published in US, Geneva, London, whatever it is. If you identify their address or phone numbers, it doesn't usually belong to that group of geographical area. So it is claimed to be based in major areas. When they are really published, it is really published somewhere else. And next one is, it may make it difficult to find out who manages the journal. So who is the publisher? Who is the real editor? If we identify that, it will not be available in our homepage. So if you see the scope also, there should be a certain set of scopes for each and every journal. The scope of interest in predatory journals includes non-biomedical subjects along with the biomedical topics. They will be giving all the scopes in your list. Okay, more than 30-35 list of areas they will be giving. Whatever area you want to do, you can send the manuscripts to that journal, and they will be accepting it to get it published with your money, author money. Okay, so the scope should be very specific. Otherwise, if it is too broad, it's said to be predatory journal. And the website also contains too many spelling mistakes and grammar errors if you go through into the websites. So these are all some of the signs. And to add that, this is a paper that is, see, if you see the paper, see the submission last date is throughout the year. There should be a date for the last date. So it shows this is a fake one and they didn't go through the homepage also. Submission last date is throughout the year, and if you see the fee also, it's not equivalent to the INR and USD. There is an error in paying the fees also. So they say it's a blind peer review and all those things. And if you go through this, there is errors and it shows it is not real one. And if you see the other sign, it may include the words like International Journal of, World Journal of, Global, or Universal in the title, like Global Journal of Research Analysis, Worldwide Journal of Multidisciplinary Research and Development. It sounds good, but all belongs to predatory journals. So we have to be very careful when there is a title that is being started with international, world, global, or universal. In the sense, we have to be very careful in identifying whether the journal is a true journal or belongs to your predatory journal. And if you see the images in the home page, it seems to be little distorted, which is fuzzy, intended to look like something they are not or which are. Okay, so it's not so clear. If you see this, this is not so clear. And there will be the index Copernicus value is promoted on the website. If you see here, they have mentioned the index Copernicus value is 63.44. So here they have mentioned the index Copernicus value. The index Copernicus value is a formula that quantifies and qualifies along with the citation score. It is more than the impact factor, but nowadays they are not preferring this index Copernicus. They are asking to go for the citation score, that is impact factor, Scopus, as well as for Web of Science alone. They are not asking for index Copernicus value. And if you see the description of the manuscript handling process is lacking there. It's not clearly written how to submit the manuscript, whether through the database or through the mails or whatever it is. We have to identify if they ask through the mail to submit the manuscript, it's not really a high index journal. And next one is manuscripts are requested to be submitted via email. So it is a major sign. If they ask you to submit through mail, you have to be a major query. It belongs to your predatory journal. And there is no retraction policy. See, the process of retraction is to correct the literature and notify the readers. If they have any errors in that, they have to correct. So here there is no retraction policy in the predatory journals. That is to correct the literature and notify the readers that the publication contains significant errors that could impact the findings or conclusion. Such findings with errors in the publications have to be removed from the digital library so that the reader should not read the error publications. And they will be removing such publications like duplicate or redundant publication. It's nothing but the same set of research is being published in different journal with a little part and part. That is too many variables will be there, and one variable along with the background will be published in one journal and the following will be published in another journal without any citation references will be given. So it's called as redundant publication. Such publications will be removed, and if it's too much plagiarized and prior publication without any proper citation, and if they fail to disclose any conflict of interest among the authors, if they find any disputed authorship and unreliable findings in the methodology or findings, they will be removed from the digital library. They have to be. And if you see in the predatory journal, there is no retraction policy that is being highlighted in the page. And one more thing is information on whether and how journal content will be digitally preserved will be absent in the predatory site. That is, repository system is not mentioned, will not be mentioned how they are preserving the digital publications. And if you see the article processing fee also, it may be too low or too high. Okay, $150 or more than $5,000. So the article processing fee also very much differ, maybe too low or too high. And the journals claiming to be open access either retain the copyright. They may ask for copyright and they may retain it, or sometimes they fail to get the copyright also. So from these things, you can identify, these are some of the indicators. And if you see the email address, that is being receiving to your emails, that will be non-professional, maybe from gmail.com or yahoo.com. But from your high index journal, it should be under manuscript sentences, some things by the editorial manager. So editorialmanager.com. If it is under a Vice account, that is Elsevier, it should be like www.elsevier.com. Not from either Gmail or Yahoo, that is local non-professional emails. If you get, please try to avoid it. And there will be a lot of spam emails or sent to the authors. And they may be asking you to publish the paper or request for publication charges, or they may be asking you to join as an editorial team member in their editorial board. And there will be a lot of spam mails that is being sent. You have to be very careful if you are getting too many spam mails in your things. And this is an example I have received. See, they are asking for submit the publications, that they are stating that they have a set of scopus, the WOS publication in UGC CAR list. Too many list of journals is being mailed, and they were requesting to submit their publications. So this is also another one thing. Archives of Pharmacy Practice. This has been seen in my mail asking for a call for papers. And if you see the home page language targets the authors. So there will be, see, if you see the home page, they will be targeting the authors. That is, they were having 700 peer-reviewed open access journals. And they have a lot of editorial board members. Their scope is too much. And they have all Web of Science. They have Scopus Index, everything. So we have to be so careful, and they will be capturing the author to submit the publication. So we have to be so careful. So we have seen many indicators that related to the predatory journals regarding the review process, their ISSN numbers in the print and online sessions that is similar or parallel to the high index journals. And if you see the publisher's name also, it won't be available or may be available. And if you see the country and language of the publication, there may be errors. Website homepage, we have to check. Journal name, we have to search. And you have to identify we have to check the scope of publication, frequency of publication, and have to check the editorial board members, and as well as the article processing fee if you want to. And this is an example. This is not my session actually. So what we were talking on all the indicators, if you see under scopus selection criteria, there will be a peer review. The English abstract has to be checked. Publications have to be checked. They will be given some guidelines, what numbers to be done, what Roman scripts have to be done with references, public ethics. All those 14 criteria along with quantitative and qualitative things have to be submitted in the scopus selection criteria. And I repeat, the ways to identify a predatory journal. So I have given you 10 important ways to identify your journal, whether it is predatory or not. The number one is you have to check the journal website, whether it is professional or not in quality. We have to be aware of journal, that if there is any advertisement that is being posted along with the journals, it's not, if it is not deeply tied to scholarly world, okay, not other than manuscript agencies or any research agencies. There may be advertisements from the rental car agencies or shopping or any florist. You have to be very much be very careful. It doesn't belong to your scholarly journals. And we have to be careful on the language on website is highly flawed. And there may be more typological errors also. And if you check the contact information also, there won't be available. And if you see, number two is the journal title notes national or international variation affiliations that does not match the location. The term shows it's an American journal of something. And if you identify whether it is being published in America, but it is not published in America, and it may show that it is being published in some other country. We have to be aware that if there is a mismatch among the national or international affiliations. And next one is claiming international status in the title without the appropriate distribution of editorial functions across the globe may denote a false claim. So this international status, we have to be, we are talking no global, international and worldwide topics, that is the titles in the journals, we have to be more aware. And inclusion of these terms is not necessarily a problem, but it is worth investigating further. I am not telling that quotes should not become, it has to be investigated more and more, whether it really an international journal or just like that they were using the word in the title. Next one is fundamental errors in the titles and abstracts. There will be a plenty of mistakes in both spelling mistakes as well as in the grammars on the websites. And if you see, there will be a poor use of language that shows a low professional standard in the manuscript writing and in the websites. And fundamental error in the title and throughout the paper may indicate that the reviewers and editors were not truly familiar with the logic. Right from the title towards the references, there will be a lot of methodology as well as grammatical mistakes throughout the abstract manuscripts. And next one is check if the journal is a member of the recognized industry initiative. Whether we have to check whether they belong to the Committee on Publication Ethics, that is SCOPE, or if the journal is an open access, whether it is listed under the Directory of Open Access Journals. These are all the databases we have to check if we want to identify really a high index journal. And if the journal is open access, does the publisher belong to the Open Access Scholarly Publishers Association, that is OSPA? And is the journal hosted on one of the INASPS journal online platform? And if it is American journals, whether it belongs under African journals offline. So these are all beautiful associations that are safeguarding the databases of the research. If you have a query in identifying and publishing under a journal, you can very well mail or ask a question whether it really belongs to that database or not. They will be giving you answer. Depending upon that, you can submit the manuscripts to that particular journal. Next, check the journal's contact information. Ensure there is verifiable contact information that matches the advertised nationality of the journal. There will be given a country code, a phone number, whatever it is. We can see it whether the code number belongs to that country. And they may be providing an address. Try to search whether it really belongs to that. And search that the timestamps of incoming emails or during working hours of the country of origin. So the journal may be in one country and they may be working in the mails in the other 12 hours. We have to check whether they really belong to that working hour in that country or not. Next one is research the editorial board. There will be a lot of chief and editorial board members, reviewers in the editorial board. We have to check the list of experts in the field as members of the editorial board members. There may be, it create fake scholars or they will list the scholars without their permissions also. Without, they may be under medical professions or not. They will be listing some numbers of medical or non-medical professionals with permissions or without their knowing also. They will be using the names. And if you go through the editorial board, surely we must be knowing some recognized person in the editorial board, which you know, and from them you can identify whether the journals are really a good one or not. So check the professional online profile of named individuals through the listed institution page. The standard things like LinkedIn or ResearchGate, you can enter those names of the editorial board members and you can really identify their credits in the research, whether they really belongs to good editorial board members or not. Next one, take a look at their peer review process and the publication timelines. You have to see how much time it is going to be published, how much time the peer review is going to be happening. Peer review is essential to uphold the quality of scientific articles and journals, and predatory journals tend to miss this peer review process out completely. They may go for peer review or like peer review, or they won't go for the peer review also. Just like that, they will be publishing in their journals. And you have to read through past issues of the journal. By reading through the past issues of the journal, you can identify whether the last issues in the archives are really worth enough towards the discipline of the scope of the journal. The next one is a single publisher releases an overwhelming large suite of new journals all at one time. All at a time, there will be a new mushrooming of too many new journals, and a single publisher will be doing, will be the publisher for all those journals. There is a dishonest publishers often expand their selection of journals to try to catch any possible author. They'll be giving mail to each and every person related to that scientific committee or belonging to those fields, medical and science fields, and whatever mails they get, whatever data they get, they give mails to each and everyone, and they will be possibly trying to get any possible authors for submitting their manuscripts. Predatory publishers offering hundreds of new journals. It is unlikely that the publisher can actually find appropriate editors to support each journal. Launching that many new journals also frequently leads to the editorial board coming soon issue described above. And the last one is the journal asks for a submission fee instead of publication fee, or tries to keep the copyright to authors. So this is an important indicator you have to identify. They may be asking asking the author to pay fees, allow for the published material to be free for the authors. And along with the publication fee, there may be some journals are asking for submission fee, even whether it is accepted or not. Even for submission itself, they are asking for a submission fee or a handling fee that is payable whether or not the manuscript is accepted or not. These open access journals should let others maintain the copyright, with the work ultimately released under a Creative Commons license. That is, copyright have to be obtained. And some journals are getting the copyrights, the two not detailedly, and some are missing together copyrights also. And journals that demand to keep the copyright while claiming to be open access should be treated with extreme caution. We are giving our money, our research to publish in the journal to be free for the readers, and we have to be very cautious in giving such copyrights to such persons. So these are all some of the things we have to be very much careful in, that is identifying the journal to be to get published. And we have some strategies and best practices to be careful when you are going for publications. We should go for a thorough journal assessment. Go through the journal right from the home page to from line 1 to last. The researchers should meticulously evaluate the journal before submission. You have to go through each and every point in the journal. If you have any query, try to clarify it or please avoid it. Look for clear peer review process. Established editorial boards is there, and a history of quality publication. You can see it from the archives whether it is quality enough to publish your article or not. And use of trusted databases. So through the COAP or data online systems, you have to identify whether the journal is under those databases, and that is like PubMed or Scopus or Web of Science. So you can identify through, if you want to identify whether it is under Scopus, you can go for scopus.com. There will be a list of Scopus journals. Check whether it belongs to Scopus, and you can go through the author guideline and can submit your publication with. And check for the fees and policies, whether the fees is nominal. If it is too much excessive, you have to see whether it is really a high index journal, whether it is a reputable journal with publishing standards. Verify the editorial board members. Research the credentials of editorial board members to ensure they are really respected experts in the field. Then engage with colleagues. Talk with the colleagues. Get the advice from your seniors, colleagues, mentors, supervisors, whether the journal really a high indexed or belongs to a clone or predatory journals. Beware of the solicitation. Too many spam mails, too many mails inviting for submissions have to be unpromising for rapid publications, and to be a member of your editorial board member, you have to be very aware of such mails. And consult the mantra, think, check, and submit before going for any submissions. Check the journals. You can go through many journals. Try to go through all the steps in the journals. Check all the steps, and after getting check, you can submit your journal. So this is the mantra when before you have to see whether to submit your journal, submit your publication or not. This initiative helps the researchers make informed decisions about the journal submissions. Next, you have to see the review the sample articles. Go through the sample articles. They will be giving some sample articles that is been free to download and see. So you have to go through the review articles, that is sample articles, and see whether the quality of the published articles is good with scholarly standards or not. Consult the librarians. He is more aware, okay, whether this journal belongs to high indexed or it belongs to the predatory or not. So consult with the librarians and faculty. So these academic librarians and experienced faculty members really can provide guidance on reputable journals. And check for the open access policies. Not all open access journals are predatory. There are very good journals that are open access that has been published by the reputed publishers. But we have to be very careful when you are publishing under open access journals. There are plenty of predatory journals also, which avoids your, which makes your reputation down. So these are all some of the strategies and practices you have to follow when you are submitting your article for publication. And there are some predatory reports. If you have your journal, if you want to submit a journal, so there are some references you have to, you can put it in the predatoryreports.org, whether your journal comes under the predatory list or not. You can very well identify it, whether it belongs to predatory or not. And this is a set of predatory journals that is been seen in the Google. See, they have given 3 lists of predatory journals. Plenty of journals right from A to Z has been given, and see all those things. International Journal of Anatomy, all very nice names, titles given here. And if we see this, we have seen even nursing journals coming under this predatory set of journals. So we have to be careful, and we can check if you have a query, whether your selected journal is under predatory or not. You can easily go through the predatory list and you can see. And if you want it to be a Scopus, you can go for scopus.com and you can check, register yourself and check whether your journal comes under the Scopus or Web of Science or not. And this is a predatory, there is a website for predatory journals. You can check the, along with the metrics, that is whether Scopus or Web of Science, or, and there is 2 metrics to be identified as very essential. One is whether it belongs to Scopus or whether it belongs to Web of Science. If they belongs to this, you can very well put your article for publication in such journals. And these are all some of the important links that has been given. If you find some journal as fake, you can report to the Center for Detection of Fake News and Disinformation, that is cdfnd.in. You can very well put a mail to such thing, and you can complain again. And if you want to check the UGC CAR list, this is the web list. You can check the UGC thing. And for Scopus, and this is the email, ask about any Scopus index journal status. They will be very well give the answers whether such journal will be journals are coming under their set of Scopus or not. So you can use this websites links to check whether your journal comes under this list or not. So for any submissions, we have this Tarak Mantra, that is you have to think, you have to check the journal right from top to bottom, and after getting clarified in all the subjects, you can submit your article for publication in a high index journal, so that your reputation as well as your research knowledge in your area will be visible to all the researchers. So think, check and submit. To conclude this topic, protecting your research from predatory journals requires vigilance and research. By evaluating a journal's reputation, ad website, and being cautious of unsolicited emails, you can avoid the pitfalls of predatory publishing. Remember, publishing in reputable journal is key to advance your career as a researcher. So we are in an era of that is publishing reputable. Publishing under reputable journals, and we have to be so careful in identifying the fake journals also, and we have to avoid all such things. And take home message, how to select a journal for publications. So try to avoid the predatory publishers and try to avoid the predatory conferences to be attended. Make sure whether the journal you selected is really indexed, really peer reviewed. Check for an impact factor. Make sure your paper matches the journal scope. Seek advice before submission from your colleagues, peers, or librarians, and create your own journal list where you are going to be, where you can trust and send your articles for publications. So this is the take-home message to select a journal for publication. So by avoiding the predatory journal, you can safeguard your academic integrity and research quality. So with this, I am ending the sessions. Thank you.